Hello and welcome to Education World. I'm Reshma. We have with us Dr. Tasha Arnold, the Academic Director of Lodha Oakwood School. With over 2 decades of experience in the field of education, Dr. Tasha has been recognized for her work as an evaluator and accreditor of top schools. She's been associated with the New England Association of Schools and Colleges and the Council for International Schools. She's worked with international schools world over during the course of her career. She has a doctorate in education from Kingston University, London. Welcome, Dr. Tasha.
Thank you.
To start off, I'm given to understand that LOS follows a customized curriculum for early years in primary school. So this is from nursery to grade 7. So how different is it from what the other schools are following? Can you tell us in brief about it?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. With regards to our customized curriculum, so each of our students has an individualized learning plan. So this plan is developed with the students. It takes into account their interest, their aptitude, and from there we use that to gear our teaching and learning. So our learning has been horizontally and vertically aligned. So for example, science all the way from, we actually reverse engineer it. So we start with the 12th grade and we bring it all the way down to the 3-year-old program. So our children are what we call spiral learning. So they'll be revisiting concepts, but each time they go into further depth, into more depth. And then we also have a vertically a horizontally aligned curriculum. So for example, if you're learning something in math, it can also be something that is visited in your English or history class. And the nice thing about all of this is how we culminate it is through learning projects. So for example, we just had a project with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So while in science, children are learning about states of matter, boiling melting point, and then they're also creating their own chocolate factories, designing them for a space in their home. So the aspects of math are considered. We talk about the history. They looked at the technology that was used in the chocolate factory. But why I use that example is because not only are children learning, the impact that it has on their learning and their excitement for it is truly remarkable. But within our curriculum, we allow our children to diverge, of course, always considering our standards in mind, but we allow them the opportunity to, if something does interest them, to further explore it, and we provide them support. So those are some ways that our curriculum is
Okay.
differentiated.
Okay. Now, you work with schools across the world. Now, India is all set to open doors for foreign schools to set up campuses here in India. Now, what do you think this means to India?
I think first off, we know we're living in a globalized world. You know, the 21st century skills, which some very intelligent people have decided are what our youth and current and future generation need to be successful and to make our planet move an even more forward way, have been identified. And we know that that involves cultural competence and being able to work in global situations. So I think the fact India is being very forward thinking in that regard, opening up those opportunities. And I think it's just going to even better prepare the children of India and those that are coming in to be more globalized citizens and have those cultural understanding skills. So I'm really excited to see that progress over the next decade or so.
Okay. So, when we're talking about progress or an overhaul completely, so it is about the introduction of NEP 2020.
Mhm.
Now, what would your feedback on the NCF for school education include?
I think my biggest, I guess, an aspect that I would like to share is that, I think working with other schools, learning from each other, things like project-based learning should really be the focal point. I think it's difficult myself growing up, being initially schooled in the United States, very much my education reflected a lot that has gone on before this new policy has been implemented, which was a lot of content, deep content understanding. And we know nowadays that, yes, of course, we have to have content understanding, of course, but at the same time, developing critical thinking skills, providing opportunities in schools for children to, I like to say, go to work. So giving them a project where they're starting from the very beginning, doing budget planning, considering risk assessments, even from an early age. We have kindergartners and first graders planning field trips. Now, obviously, the degree of how they plan that changes with the age level, but we really do try to scaffold real life experiences And even when you have classrooms with large numbers of students in it, you can still provide these opportunities. But you know, teachers need support. They need the resources, they need the time in order to plan these experiential learning opportunities. So, you know, this idea of
Okay.
reteach, retrain is something that I think will be important in the coming years.
Okay. I think going forward, hands-on learning will be the way forward, actually.
Mm.
So now in the present scenario, textbooks are taking a back seat as the primary resource for learning. Do you see any pros and cons to this?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I remember when the Kindle came out. I'm still a textbook person. I like to hold a book when I read, so I do think they have their place, and there's something nice about actually being able to hold something that's tangible. But also, how
Okay.
our children learn and communicate is different nowadays. I don't think textbooks are going to be completely replaced. Our children need to learn. I think it's important to engage with print in that way. But I also think, you know, those of us who didn't grow up in that generation, we need to be flexible and we need to understand that children can read on a screen much easier. They can take notes from a screen. While we might find it difficult as leaders and educators, we need to realize that our children have been programmed and practicing this from very early ages. So I think, you know, the pros are that having text in all formats, it can reach a wide variety of children. But also having books is there's something I find personally comforting about it. And also, you know, teaching children to read by putting your finger underneath the words as you go through is important. Yes, you can do it on an iPad, but it's a little bit different when you have that tangible book.
I'm sure there's a lot of nostalgia attached to that.
Yeah.
So the following are going to be one-word questions. So thinker or philosopher that you follow? A thinker or philosopher you follow?
John Dewey,
A Nobel laureate that you admire?
Jane Addams,
One book on education that you think all educationists must read?
The First Days of School, How to Be an Effective Teacher.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tasha. It was nice having you.
Thank you so much.